At the holidays, I'm all about making people's lives easier. So today I'm sharing another great dessert. It's a pear and raspberry tart. They couldn't be easier to put together. This is a piece of puff pastry from a 17.5-ounce box, and I just stretched it a little and then cut it into a 9.5-inch square. And I'm scoring, don't cut all the way through, a border of 3/4 of an inch. Get this into the freezer while you make your filling. To prepare the filling is really easy. In a large bowl, combine 3/4 of a cup of raspberries, works just as well with frozen raspberries, 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, 1/4 cup of sugar, just about 2 teaspoons of lemon juice, so it's from half of a lemon, and 1/4 teaspoon of fine salt. Mash the berries just a tiny bit and stir them together with the flour and the sugar. This is going to sit just for a few minutes and begin to release some juices while you prepare your pears. You can set that aside. I have 2 small pears here. They should be firm but ripe. That way they'll hold their shape while they're baking. Pears are a really great flavor to combine with more acidic things like raspberries or cranberries because they're very sweet, but they lack a bit of acid. You can use Bartlett or Anjou, and I'm using a combination of 2 different kinds of pears. Cut them in half, and then you want to remove the core. I like to use a melon baller, but you can use a spoon as well. Just scoop out the core with a melon baller. It should come right out, and also remove the stem. Be sure to slice your pears right before you need them so that they don't get brown. They start to degrade quite quickly, I find. You can use a melon baller to remove the core of apples as well. I find it super useful for that. Thinly slice your pears. It really doesn't matter which way you slice them. Add your pears to the raspberry mixture. Stir to combine, and then the juice from the pears is going to moisten the rest of that flour and sugar. When everything's fully combined, go get your puff pastry out of the freezer. Nice and cold. Cold puff pastry bakes the best. Spoon your filling within the border that you cut. What'll happen is as your tart bakes, the part where it's scored will puff up around the fruit, creating a really nice puffy border. Pears can be pretty juicy. That's why I added the flour to this. It's going to act as a thickener. Make sure that it's relatively even. It'll probably be a little bit thicker in the center and a little thinner towards the edges, and that's okay, but you don't want a big, huge pile in the center and then nothing on the edges. Okay, that looks good. Brush the edges with egg white. The egg white will give a nice shine to the edge of the tart without getting it overly browned. Now get this into a 400-degree oven and bake for 15 minutes. After 15, reduce the temperature to 375 and bake until the juices are bubbling and everything is golden brown. That'll take about 30 more minutes. If necessary, if it's getting too dark, you can tent it with foil. Pretty, huh? What I like to do is when it comes out and there's a lot of warm juices around, I just lightly brush the top of all the fruit with some of the juices. That way when it cools down and you're ready to eat it, it's nice and shiny. It also gives the pears a little bit of a pink hue because it's the juices of the raspberries mixed with the pears. You don't really need to let this cool completely before you eat it. Just let it be not completely hot, and then you can enjoy. I think I'll enjoy some right now. I really think that you should try this as an alternative dessert for Thanksgiving because it's super duper easy and really impressive and beautiful. Tanginess from the raspberries, sweet unctuousness from the pears. It's a match made in heaven for Thanksgiving or any day.